There are moments in life when a single decision, taken in silence and seen by no one, reveals the true weight of a person's soul. This is the story of a girl who owned nothing, no roof, no warm meal, no one to call family, yet had a heart richer than the wealthiest mansions in the city. And this is also the story of a man who had everything, power, fame, unimaginable fortune, yet felt hollow inside, until the day their paths crossed in the most unexpected way. The moment that changed everything began on a rainy November night, under the dim glow of a flickering street lamp, when a billionaire CEO in a tailored black suit handed over his sleek black credit card to a shivering homeless girl who was crouched on the sidewalk clutching a torn blanket. No one could have guessed that this seemingly ordinary gesture would set off a chain of events that would reveal the true strength of kindness, and shake both their lives forever. Before we dive deeper into this unforgettable journey of faith, compassion, and redemption, take a moment to pause. If you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in the power of a good heart to change the world, then please like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel, StoryNest. Your single click can help spread stories that heal hearts and inspire hope. The girl's name was Elena. She was only 23 but had already known the kind of pain most people cannot imagine. Once a bright college student who dreamed of becoming a nurse, Elena's world came crashing down after losing her parents in a tragic car accident during her second year of university. With no siblings and no extended family willing to help, she soon fell behind on tuition fees, dropped out, and lost her tiny rented apartment. She had no choice but to live on the streets of the bustling city, trying to survive each day with odd jobs that barely bought her a piece of bread and a bottle of water. Even through the bitterness of her reality, Elena never allowed her heart to harden. She often shared the little she had with stray dogs that wandered near her sleeping spot beneath an old bridge. When it rained, she would sit with an elderly homeless man named Greg, offering him her only blanket while she shivered beside him. Her eyes carried sorrow, but her actions carried warmth, a light in the shadows. On the other side of the city lived Damian Cross, a 35-year-old self-made millionaire and CEO of a multinational tech empire. He had risen from poverty himself but had long forgotten what it felt like to struggle. Years of fierce competition and betrayal in the corporate world had built walls around his heart. Known for being tough, meticulous, and distant, Damian rarely smiled. Wealth surrounded him, but joy rarely visited. One late evening, after leaving a high-profile business gala, Damian's chauffeured car passed through the quieter streets. It was raining, and through the foggy car window he saw a figure hunched against a brick wall. The girl's wet hair clung to her pale face, her knees drawn up to her chest as if trying to become invisible. Something about the sight tugged at a place in Damian's heart he thought had long turned to stone. He asked his driver to stop. As he stepped out with an umbrella, the rain stung his skin like tiny needles, yet he barely noticed. He walked toward the girl and knelt slightly, his expensive shoes splashing in the puddle near her feet. She didn't look up at first, thinking it was just another stranger passing by. But when he softly asked, "Are you all right?" she slowly raised her head, revealing tear-streaked cheeks. Damian didn't know why he did what he did next. Maybe it was impulse, or maybe something deeper. He reached into his wallet, pulled out his personal black credit card, an exclusive card with no spending limit, and held it out to her. "Take it," he said simply, his voice low but firm. Elena stared at it as if it were something unreal. He didn't explain, didn't give instructions, just told her to use it for anything she needed. Then, without waiting for thanks or questions, he left, his umbrella tilting against the wind as he disappeared back into his car. Elena sat frozen, staring at the card. She had every reason to doubt it was real. Part of her wondered if it was a cruel joke. But the chill of the night was harsher than her doubts, and hunger gnawed at her stomach. Slowly, she got up and walked into a nearby 24-hour convenience store. Her heart raced as she approached the counter with a sandwich, a bottle of water, and a small packet of dog food for the stray she had befriended. When the cashier swiped the card, the transaction went through effortlessly. Elena felt a lump in her throat. For the first time in years, she could afford to eat without begging or counting coins. But instead of splurging, she bought only the basics, enough to fill her stomach and share with Greg and the dog that waited outside under the flickering streetlight. That night, she returned to the bridge and handed Greg a warm meal and the dog its food before she ate her own sandwich. She could have used the card to buy herself new clothes, a bed, or even book a room in a motel. But she didn't. Something inside her whispered that this card was not hers to exploit, it was a lifeline, a trust she couldn't betray. Meanwhile, Damien couldn't get her out of his mind. The next day, he quietly instructed his assistant to track any unusual charges on the card. To his surprise, there were none. Just a handful of small transactions at the convenience store. No luxury shopping, no extravagant spending. Days passed, and Damien's curiosity grew into admiration. He decided to visit her again, this time in plain clothes. From a distance, he watched as Elena fed a stray dog her last piece of bread and comforted a coughing Greg, offering him half her water. Her kindness was effortless and genuine, untouched by her suffering. It was then Damien realized that the test he had unintentionally set, the test of character, had revealed something extraordinary. He saw in Elena what he had lost in himself, compassion without expectation. Weeks later, Damien approached her again, this time offering more than just a card. He helped her get medical care for Greg, arranged a safe shelter for both of them, and encouraged Elena to return to school to finish her nursing degree. But it wasn't charity that changed her life, it was the way Damien treated her, with dignity, as an equal, never once making her feel indebted. For Elena, the black credit card had not been a ticket to luxury, it had been a bridge back to hope. She didn't just rebuild her own life, with Damien's support, she began volunteering at shelters, helping others rise from the same darkness she had endured. Their journey was not without challenges. Elena had to face her insecurities, the whispers of those who judged her for accepting help, and the haunting memories of her parents' loss. Damien, too, had to unlearn his cynicism and reconnect with his own humanity. But together, they built something far more valuable than wealth, trust, respect, and a shared commitment to lift others. Years later, Elena graduated as a nurse, dedicating her life to caring for the vulnerable. Greg recovered and became a staff member at the shelter they supported together. Damien, though still a CEO, changed the way he ran his company, implementing programs to support the homeless and give second chances to those society overlooked. And every time Elena looked at that old black card, which she had returned to Damien long ago, she remembered the night a stranger's silent act of faith restored her belief in herself and in the kindness that still exists in the world. If this story touched your heart even a little, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who might need hope today, and subscribe to StoryNest for more such stories that remind us of the power of compassion. Your engagement helps us keep telling stories that inspire change. Before we end, we'd love to hear from you in the comments. What would you have done if you were given that black credit card on a night like Elena's? Your thoughts and words might inspire someone else who reads them. Sometimes the greatest wealth is not measured by what's in your bank account, but by what's in your heart.